Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, inshallah, we have, so this is a very, very last few hours, right? So we'll try to take the full advantage of this time. So when we have it, I will show you a Kahoot quiz that we prepared for a 5D topic, that essentially we want to really have it for every topic, such quiz, but we'll just, have you to walk through that. Then right after that, I will actually give you a Kahoot quiz of 24 questions that covering almost all topics from the day one, okay? So we're gonna see how, and so I hope you all have your digital devices, a phone, you can access through that. So we'll see how everything is being digested. That would be a good opportunity. We haven't done assessment normally. We're supposed to have, against, as you know, that there's formative and summative assessments that we're supposed to do, even formative in between. Okay, and then we will have a survey. Before the survey, I will show you, some a kind of work in progress material that we hope to have it very, very soon. I'll tell you what is really coming, so then you can, see how, and also we'll tell you what we are, planning to do, and you can think how you can help us or contribute. So let's see this one first. This is on the subject of birds. I think this is a low grade, maybe, grade 4 it says there. So the 10 question, that's for the topic, let me, okay, just I'm playing myself here to show you how, what are the questions, how we try to use the Kahoot to really, at the end of each subject, try to see how they could be evaluated. Like all birds fly, true or false? False. Okay. It's true or false? Yes? True? Okay. A good analogy to understand bird is? Airplane, right? To manufacture a plane, you need all of them. Nature. If a jet plane was a living creature, will it transform into a car? True or false?
No, they're not knowledgeable.
False. What can we learn about the maker? The one who has created birds must have also created plants and animals.
True.
True. There's interconnectivity. We can learn from falcons. What are the lessons we can learn? All are correct. Okay. So again, imagine that we have kids. Now you're going to see how it will you will play actually. So now we're going to have the real one. Please prepare your device. And so we'll see.
They have to visit www.kahoot.it to join.
Yes.
Not kahoot.com.
Correct. Let's see. What's that? Yeah, Kahoot.it. That's the place you need to go. And that is the code you need to. This is the pin you need to enter. So just you can scan QR there. Yeah. So does everyone have the device? So we want everyone to join. You can, again, if you think you're going to be number one, want to use different name, that's fine. You don't want to. Okay, so. Are we all in? Okay. So remember, there are two things in this competition. One is the speed, how fast you are. Obviously, the accuracy, the second one. So make sure you read the whole questions and all options, because that some question tricky, don't regret, okay? But try to be as fast as you could.
There is also an evaluation at the end.
Okay. Anyone who is not there yet?
One person.
Okay. Huh?
I'm not here.
You're trying? Okay. Shall we start? Ismail Hocam, are you ready? Huh? You get in? Okay. Oh, mashallah, we got 30 people. You don't have double, identity, right? Okay. Bismillah. True or false? Modern science follows a value-free or neutral objective approach. True or false? Yeah, maybe connection could be a problem. Yes. Wow. See, you still have some. They think it is true. Wow. Interesting. I hope it was by mistake. Which of the following is false in regard to material causes? Not sufficient, generally required. God is the first cause only. God is the only true cause creating a fact. Which one is false? Yeah. Oh, see? The question was, which one is false? God is the first cause only is a false statement, right?
First rule of assessment, read the question.
Exactly. And then why the others, why did it not? Oh, you couldn't get up at the time?
It is too fast.
Okay. Which of the following is not among modern diseases that we discuss? Yes. Materialism, secularism, naturalism. The following is not among the four concepts which Nusi discovered in 40 years of his life and 30 years of his education. Which one is not among them? Yeah, it's not among this. Be careful, okay? Which one is false? None was false, right?
It is better.
Because you can study the traffic sign as an object, that's the Ismi perspective, or so you study the Ismi dimension. You focus on the meaning, that's the Harfi perspective, that you look at the meaning side of that. But it's better to study the universe along with its meaning, means that it's better to bring the Harfi perspective when you study the universe. Therefore, all of them is true, nothing is wrong.
I thought it was.
What is the alphabet of the Harfi language to read the universe? What's the other set? Oh, some says all of the above. Yeah. It mentions Anna, right? Man arafa nafsahu, right? Which one is false?
I hate this question.
Science is useless for believers. Science is good even if presented in Ismi perspective. Science might lead to disbelief even if presented in Harfi perspective. All of the above. Science is useless for believers. Is it true? No, it's no. But all of them are false. Again, we said you need to read carefully. What is the core problem in modern scientific knowledge? Evolution? It should be Big Bang Theory, not Bing Theory. Separation of creation from the creator, atheism. Oh, good, good, that's good. I think so. See, we had enough emphasis on that. It seems like almost everyone got that.
Yeah, I read that hearing your voice. So.
What is the best definition of science? Science tells us about absolute facts about the universe. Science is always true. Science derives theory from observation and experimentation. Science is related to the unobservable aspect of the universe. So it's basically science. Science is all about observation, experimentation. It's not an absolute fact because scientific fact can be falsified. And actually the very nature of science is to be falsifiable. So you cannot talk about it as an absolute. Which one is among secular trios of modern science? Oh, very good. That will get almost everyone got right. That's good. Which of the following shall be given to students first in education? Kalam. Okay. Islamic philosophy, in other words.
It's kalam. You didn't know what kalam was?
Yeah. So, no, it's again, it's basically, so the idea here is the essential part to remember, but this was not explicit but implicit in our lectures, that essential part is the formation of the worldview. So the kalam is just in Islamic philosophy. So it's kalam is overall is a philosophy, is Islamic philosophy. It's not about formation of the worldview.
Everyone has done.
Getting worse.
Who is T? So you see, okay, so we have, who is SH?
Slowing down.
SH? Okay, good. Let's see. In the 5D thinking approach, we try to make people reject scientific knowledge. True or false?
Rejecting it.
Yeah, it's good. Wow, mashallah. First question with 100% accuracy. Huh? Because some people think that we are anti-science, so we can use this as evidence that we are not, right? After 6 days of training, if you get it 100% right, obviously that means we are not anti-science. It's important to give students the sense of self-confidence. True or false? Good. And that's also very good. I guess those two are not really among regular attendees. Which one is false about teaching science and God according to the 5D model? Science without God is incomplete or inaccurate. Science and God shall be covered in separate courses. Knowledge about God shall be extracted from science. None. Which one is false? Be careful, otherwise you get wrong. Which one is... Yeah, see? So science without God, we mentioned, is actually true, will be either incomplete or inaccurate. Okay? So, because if you provide the scientific explanation of water and do not mention God and do not mention nature, cause and chance, that's incomplete. But if you say it's from nature or material cause, that's inaccurate. So which means that a scientific explanation without God is either incomplete or inaccurate. There has to be God in truly understanding any scientific subject. And therefore it shall not be covered separately. Otherwise you give incomplete or inaccurate information. It should be covered together. Okay? And the way we do that, our suggestion is the model says you need to extract from it. It's already here. You don't have to start with ayah and hadith. You can extract from the existing knowledge. God created an apple seed like a factory which will be activated to turn into an apple tree if planted and watered. True or false? See, it's not easy to really eliminate the secular perspective, because we mention again, seed is not the source of trees, seed is not a factory, seed is just the qadar, is just the program, the plan, is just recipe of how Allah is going to create a tree. Seed is not the source of the tree. God create the seed, God create the tree, God create the fruit, but they come in a sequential way. They always attach to each other, that we call this association. But we start to see that as if this is causation as they present it to us in a secular perspective. So we did try and mention, but it's not easy to remove that ideology.
We see it in our daily life. We see couples that they don't have anything and they are ready to be parents, but they have everything to be mother and father, but they don't. Because it's qadar, khalas, they don't. Nothing is missing, the machine is here, but it's not working. Okay. So it's qadar.
Yeah, but again, that's why, like, basically, you could still with that, you might say, that there could be some things, missing that they could not. Our argument here is that, no cause has the ability to produce effect.
Yeah.
So therefore, there is no cause, there is only effect. There is no causation, there is only creation. So, and that's really one of very essential message we try to give. And you see, I think even if, we are here struggling to get this point, you can imagine how difficult it will be to really convey this message to students. And we're not blaming, we're just saying this is a very good evidence of how much we are being brainwashed by the secular ideology. That it's very, very difficult to disconnect the event, the object from the cause, nature and chance, and give it directly to the Creator. And when you come to the personal life event, that's even much more difficult. That's why you see, people fight with each other. That's why you see extremely high divorce rate. Why? Because when, partner begin to fight with each other, they think one is the cause. But while it's actually, is Allah his, whatever is coming from your wife or husband to you is from Allah actually. So, whether it's good or bad. So you can't really see the person as the source. You have to see Allah as the source. Then you need to ask yourself, what did I do? Why Allah is actually treating me in a bad way today? What is He telling to me? So in a sense that when you don't see the source, then you start to fight with the means as if this is the source. But if the source is all good and all wise, you recognize it, you try to treat it nice and say, okay, what is the message? What shall I do? Did I do something maybe today boost my ego that my wife or husband helping me to really coming down on the earth and kind of deflate your ego. So you look at for wisdom behind that. You don't really, in this case, just things is as if it's come from the course. Yes?
Just I want to share my experience. I am only 10 years I'm Muslim, and that secular background makes me very difficult for me
to answer those questions. You don't feel bad. Those are born as a Muslim and they went through the training, they still get wrong.
I realize that it's still behind.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is. It's very, very. Exactly. Yes.
I'm struggling to get this one because it already says God creates it.
Yes.
So there is no source there, and there is Adatullah. God creates it. The qadar, the program, the system is in there already. So if you follow the rule Adatullah, so you give water and sun, and if it is in the soil, according to the rule Adatullah, it is supposed to be a tree. So what is wrong here? I don't get it.
Yeah, the wrong thing here is the word factory. God did not create apple seeds as a factory with the ability to produce tree. God only creates apple seed as a plan, as a program, as a, let's say, recipe of what He is going to create next. And tells you that this is what I'm going to do if you provide water, provide the sunlight along the soil. This is what I am going to create, and this is the features of what I'm going to create. This is exactly like recipe, but no recipe can cook any meal. Recipe is just a description of what needs to be done. So in this case, the seed is a qadar that's revealed to us. The seed is a divine program, divine plan that tells what He's going to do. It's not a factory with a machinery that can actually get the raw material and produce the tree. No way. That's the reason that we say it's wrong to say, yes, God created apple seed, but not as a factory. So God created apple seed as a program, and God creates tree based on this program, but not from this program. And God creates apple not from the tree, from His knowledge and power, but attached to the tree. That is what we basically, that's what's really the whole training was about. I think it's your first day maybe here? Huh?
It's my third day.
Third day here, okay. So, because we did actually discuss this a lot at the beginning. The first 2 days was mostly, we tried to focus on that one. I don't know which day, but so therefore, we really, we thought is essential to understand the causation, not at the causal mechanism God create that we call adatullah. There is no causation. There is only creation that in philosophy they call occasionalism. Okay, so in this case we say basically what we see as an adatullah is a form of association that happening all the time. Is a regularity that we observe in the creation we call adatullah. It's not the causation that established by Allah. So, and that's to this statement somehow to see whether we really grasp this understanding. And this is, by the way, is not a new idea. It's very old. When you go to read Ghazali, when you go and read all the Ash'ari scholars, that was the main debate among them. And it's quite settled down among them that to see God is the cause of everything from the Quranic perspective. But unfortunately, we still, even as a Muslim, since we go through the secular education, so we really see the causation, we see as if the causation is real. And this is one of the major, I will say shirk. Because when Nursi says parast, he says you're worshipping to the causes. That you have to remove that, otherwise, that now you think the tree is the source, the seed is the source. You cannot see God as the direct source of everything. So therefore, it's really very. Yes.
There's another thing here, that not every time you plant a seed and water it, it becomes a tree. It only becomes a tree when Allah says, Kun fayakun, it's only when He says. Because many times we plant seeds, we water them, but nothing comes out. So in itself,
Yeah, it's not why? Because the cause does not necessitate the effect. And because the cause does not have the necessary property to produce effect. And we had a lot of discussion in terms of like, is it hydrogen and oxygen come together make a water? No, it's not. Why? Because it doesn't have the necessary properties. And I think now we have much more evidence from science telling us the cause are not sufficient. We have more in almost every day. But they bring this fancy word. They added this, remember we mentioned, what was the word they added? They call emergent properties. They add this fancy words as if like now when you add this one, the problem is solved. Which one of the following is among the teaching traits of the Prophet, peace be upon him? We discussed it only in one session. If you missed that one, then you're not going to be able to answer this. Good. I remember we discussed Socrates and we said it's actually the best teacher is the Prophet, peace be upon him. We really need to look his teaching approach, and those were the things we discussed that. Mark the thinking dimension which is not part of the 5D thinking model. It's not about 5 dimension. Okay, good, good. Yes, but what we're saying that among the 5 dimensions, so analytical thinking, analogical thinking, critical thinking, meditative thinking, moral thinking. But system thinking is actually, we mentioned that as a guiding in terms of holistic approach to the curriculum, but not in terms of 5D steps. That's what, but system thinking we did mention, we said that we need this for the holistic approach to the curriculum, but therefore some of you might have been confused because of that. It was tricky a little bit. Amazing scientific facts shall be covered in which dimension? Analytical thinking dimension, analogical thinking, critical thinking, moral thinking dimension. First steps. We covered in the very first step actually. Okay, you see the computations? This is actually, you can see it's changing, right? Those are computed to the top 5. So it's good. Let's see. Brother T is down now. Comparing and contrasting God-made things with man-made ones for better understanding shall be done in which dimension? Comparison. Good. Yeah, winner. Let's see. In which dimension do we negate the materialistic and positivistic ideology that preaches causes, natural laws, and chance? explicit negation of those secular trios. In which dimension we do that? Good. Okay, so we have only 4 questions left. So look at Amatullah and Brother Talal. Who is AC?
Who's Amatullah?
Yeah, who's Amatullah?
Marwa. Marwa is sitting at the back.
Amatullah, any worshiper of Allah.
Oh. Okay. So who is AC? Oh, okay. Brother Asad, right? Okay. Okay, let's see. In the meditative thinking dimension, we point to really? Is that showing? Oh. Okay, I skipped that if it's not showing, okay?
In progress.
Okay. To be fair to those who did not get it, so I just skipped this question, okay? Let's go to the next one. Okay. Oh, still give the scores? Okay, those who answered, they get the mark. Okay, in the meditative thinking dimension, we point to, was it? Oh yeah, this is actually, oh, I see. That was good reason to skip it. It's the same question actually. That was good to skip it, it seems like. It's a bonus question. Okay, yeah, see? Okay. Last 2 questions. The analogical thinking dimensions aim to show that God's works are greater than comparable man-made ones, true or false? What is the objective there? Is this objective in that dimension? That's the question. It is false. Our objective is not to prove which one is better. The objective is to see what it takes for, exactly, will, knowledge, and power to understand, it takes will, knowledge, and power to make the man-made one, and therefore there has to be knowledge, will, and power for the other one as well to exist. Though you can claim it's greater always, we mentioned that, but it's not necessary. That's not our objective. Okay. Very last question. In the moral dimension, we do
I don't think anyone's going to get this one wrong. Someone's still thinking?
Yes.
Oh, good. Everyone gets right, mashallah. Okay, let's see. Brother Asad and Brother Talal and Sister Marwa. Mashallah. And Sister Ghazala, number 4, and Brother Ibrahim, I think. What is it, Dayan? That's number 5. Mashallah. Okay, so how was it overall? Good?
Confusing.
You like it? So this is yeah, exactly. But this is actually, we can design next time for every, let's say every day, a shorter one. So in a way that you could see when you get this, you know, this lectures very fresh, so we can see how much is digested or not. So I think we could do that. It doesn't have to be long. It could be short, like 10 questions. But you can see it's basically, I don't know, how many of you use Kahoot in your teaching? Raise your hand. Okay, yeah, it's really, really great. Even I use for college students. We have a book review, book club for MBA students. I use for them. They really like it.
You can get feedback. I always get my feedback from my students so that they don't like this Kahoot. I will cancel for the next year.
Okay, yeah, so it's very, very good. Okay. So what I want to do, basically, I want to briefly show you some things in the plan where we have it, what to expect, and then show you some of the material they're working on. And then after that, we'll give you the links to do the survey part. So we'll have the survey as well before you go. Let me see. Okay. So what's really coming, so we're working now, we will plan to work in a 3-stage in terms of publication, 5D publication. In a stage 1 that we have now science workbooks for grades kindergarten to grade 6. They are ready almost, I think it's like, we made an agreement with the publisher. We should get all those books to be available on Amazon in a digital format and print on demand within 30 to 40 days. So gradually we'll be there. So we already, you know, have 4 or 5 books completely ready for the publishers. He's working on now, and then we'll have 2 more that we're working on. And in addition to that, we'll have also the teacher guidebook that I shared with you. That will come as well. So in total, we expect like within like 40 days, we'll have 8 books that will be published, will be ready on Amazon. So that's one thing you can look forward and try to see how you could utilize that. So the second stage that we want to move to the social studies once we done with the science, again with the low grade level, and then third stage, we want to move to the higher grades. That's in a way, you know, for the language part as well. That we'll do the same things for the science and the social studies as well. So that's one thing in terms of really the publication part. So we're gonna this year most likely for the stage 1. We're gonna once we're done, we will give to the schools, and some we have pilots in schools, and other teachers want to use, and we'll get feedback from them and try to you know, improve it further. The services we plan to provide is the teacher training and certification. They're both online and on-site as we have it now. So we basically, you know, might have regional or country-based training. And then we want to provide consultancy to schools on the curriculum design, that how you can come up with holistic integrated curriculum. And also, eventually, want to really, you know, give license or give accreditation to the schools, like the, you know, Montessori school type of things that we can basically, you know, assess them and provide certain material and train the teachers for that. That's the services that we plan to do. We will have digital products as well, like short videos. We want to, for every 5D topics, we want to have like up to 5 minutes effective, you know, videos for them. So we think that's very, you know, important. We want to have a Kahoot quiz for each topic as well, along the videos. We want to provide a presentation, so we think it's better than PowerPoint presentation. And so we did prepare before. It was really, when you put times, you have to work on the font and the images. So if you put it in a good way, it's more appealing. And then we want to improve and develop our 5D website, make it a sharing portal. We already have this feature that we just need to work on it, in which that you know, you can basically go and share your material and make a comment. So we'll we can, you know, if you stay in touch with us, so we'll share with you, then you could use the portal as well. We plan to, you know, those who particularly want to make a contribution in writing, so we will have someone who will be organizer and reach out those people and make a plan and then have you to make commitment. You will say, okay, so I plan to, let's say, write one topic per month or one topic per week, whatever. So, and we use the Basecamp mainly to follow up with those things. So in a way that we can really, you know, make some progress on that. And eventually, you know, if we, the websites gets really good enough that we can have the subscription model on the websites that, which, you know, ongoing, let's say, services of providing more materials to the schools. And then once the other things we really hear from everyone is just translation. So one thing's here, because we don't have anything in Turkish. So, and those people here, they're insisting that we should really have something in Turkish. The good news is that an AI is really making our job is very easy. So if we have someone just read the translation from AI and just do some correction, we think it could be perfect. And we did try with that. So therefore, it's not going to be difficult to translate all of our material into Turkish, Arabic, Malay, or, you know, Pashto, or whatever language you have. It depends on what is available on AI. So I think that we could easily do that and make it on a website and provide it as a material as well. Okay. Now I'll show you one examples in terms of workbooks. It was one design. We get it, but okay. So this is one example. This is, I think, grade 2, I don't know exactly. This is initial, you know, the design. We didn't like it actually, therefore we find another one, but it will give you an idea what will be the inside of each chapter. So each book will consist of like 14 chapters like this, workbooks, and you will have learning outcomes, then you will have first steps, explore, fascinating fact, and there will be YouTube video, the second steps, that's the comparison, analogy, and again with videos. Then third step, questioning. For the low grade, we have nature and chance only, and high grade, nature, chance, and causes will be question, and then thinking question in this dimension. Then fourth step, there will be connect, the meditative thinking, we call connect for low grade. And then again, you see the divine names we provided in relation to the topics. There, both in Arabic and in English meaning of that. And then appreciates, and you see zikr, fikr, shukr will be there in that. Then we'll have the character lessons, specify 2, 3, depending on subjects, based on from the subjects that we do. And then there will be an ayah and hadith. After that, the second part will be activities. For every topic, there will be activities. So in this case, basic activity is designed to make sure those for each dimension, that make sure the kids really understands that certain activity, including game, drawing, talking point, the discussion question, you know, to make sure they understand the names, you know, the appreciation. So that will be against the activity for every topic, 2 parts. One, the presentation of topic, the second is an activity. And against, as I mentioned, we want to also provide, you know, the Kahoot competition. It will be part of activity as well. Okay. Yes, I think that is the example. Again, we'll have it, and this is basically the design. We didn't like it, so we get another publisher, and they come up with better design. So hopefully, when you get it, you will see even it looks better. Okay. Any questions? Any comments? Any things before we move to the survey? Yes. Any questions? Any things? Yes.
When we go back to our countries and introduce this to our schools or institutions, what are the steps to have cooperation and maybe getting someone to train the teachers, or is it we that we transfer what we learned, go and transfer it, or how does it go?
Yeah, that's why I put it here. Remember, I said in terms of the services that we provide, I think that you can, you know, we can. So when now we are actually, we already have some discussion with some, you know, brothers and sisters on that one to come up with clear business plan to really take it to the next level. So what I mentioned to you is just like overall roadmap that we want to plan. But I think the best way will be is to really follow with us in terms of our publication, and then try to see how we can collaborate. Basically, once you see there is a desires out there, we can discuss collaboration in terms of teacher training, in terms of having the school to adopt those workbooks to use it, because that has to be with the training. Without training, we don't think it's that beneficial. So those type of things, we're trying to look, see what is the best way, how we're gonna really do that. But I think you can also, everyone in their region, you can see what, what is the potential there, and what would be your suggestion, and what are the need there, so that we can, you can reach out us, and then we can evaluate, we can assess that. But this is, basically the type of help that we need. First and foremost is really we need a lot of help on the content development. So, and therefore anyone who really feels good on writing on this approach, I think we can work together to see whether you really enjoy, you could do it, because there is enormous need in terms of getting more 5D, writers who will write in 5D thinking, for certain subject area. So, and therefore, if you're really a type of person you enjoy writing, so I think that you can help us on that part first. But the other one is in terms of let's say how you can, how we can disseminate this, that in terms of what are the schools you can basically let them know about the products, the services we have, and that's the things that we can, you can look what the needs and potential in your country, in your region, in your schools, and then you can reach out us, we can see what is the best way to work together. Because again, we have to follow, Adatullah means the laws of Allah in a way that if we want to be successful, we have to do it in a very professional way. So which means that we need to sign an agreement and see what is the need there, and then make a plan and try to deliver it in a professional way. Otherwise, it's still, you're helpful, you go and tell them they get something, but you are not gonna go anywhere with this. So we have to be very structured, very professional. And if any schools out there, they really wants to do, use such model, because that's our ultimate objective. So basically, we want to really provide this as a model to school, so they will subscribe to the model, and we'll provide them the educational material and the training, and the overall ideas of how they can integrate in their curriculum. So on that, anyone can really help if you have certain, because again, it's not easy, particularly when you have a new model, until you have good data and good schools out there that they implement, they really see the outcome, because initially it's going to take time for the takeoff to really have schools to sign up in idea. So, and therefore if we find, let's say 5-10 schools, they are very enthusiastic to implement that, we gather the data from them, that will be essential to convince the other school that is a good model to go with it. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I think slightly longer, middle to longer term objective should be to create a beacon school. So I mean, if you can get 1 or 2 beacon schools who, once you've done the theory and you've done the teacher training, okay, you actually want to see what it looks like in real life, as in, you want to see practically, go and visit this school, go and visit this school. So that might be something that I think middle to long term might be something really worth doing. Sure.
So in other words, you're saying we need to have a kind of a good exemplary school which implement. I think we have some candidates here, right? And I think Sister Ghazala has her own school. She's a principal, so hopefully, because we really need to have someone who truly understands the model and passionate about it, and then they implement properly. As we get feedback, we can we're not saying it's perfect. We need to get feedback and improve it, but I agree, I think if we can have something to display to others how it works, it will be way, way better.
Before I give it to you, so the Beacon School I think is extremely important. Was that the intention behind the pilot schools that you showed us?
I think the pilot school was in a way to really just experiment with the model and get some feedback to see what works, what doesn't work.
Okay.
It wasn't like to have a kind of exemplary school will implement that. It was like just testing.
Okay. So are you still?
We're still working with those.
Are you still looking for new pilot schools around different parts of the world?
Again, I think really we have. I think Al Falah School in South Africa. They're quite, we'll say, passionate about the model. They want to really. They were part of the piloting, so they have a huge campus. They invited us last year. We went there, and they want us to provide training this year as well. So we think that this school will be one of such schools that can really. But their challenge is 50% of their teachers are not Muslims, and to the level, because we didn't know that when we mentioned even the cow and milk, and some Indian teachers, they get offended because the language used that, So we had to apologize because they really got offended that we are like, in a way, again, for them it's a secret. I mean, you have to know your audience. You have to be, respectful to their belief, no matter how nonsense it is. You can say that. So we made such mistake there, and actually it was so. This is their main challenge. They said it's almost 50% of their teachers in Islamic school are not Muslims. They cannot find it. So I suggest them to come and get some teacher from Turkey. But I don't know.
That was for the senior school, but in the junior, up to grade 6, they only had 2 non-Muslims in there, and they were actually very good. Yeah. So, and we applied the model in the lower grades. So senior school, we just after we realized what was going on, we just said, okay, let's put that on a back burner for now. But
the school can't enforce its own policy or curriculum.
Yeah, but remember, ultimately it is teacher out there. So because it's the teachers, they do not really believe in it. It becomes very hard. Even if you formally make your policy, it doesn't work. Because in our model, what we want to really know, we want to know whether the model is missing something, therefore it's not working, or whether it's not you are not implementing properly, therefore it's not working. So we think that the teacher component is absolutely essential. You need to get the right teacher with the right training, and they should be passionate about that to the level they believe in it, because this is something new. Of course, not all of them will do that, but we should be able to identify, at least train them. But to get someone who fundamentally against the model, it becomes very difficult really, because you know what the teachers could do in a classroom. They could still tell you, yeah, I'm doing everything, but if they don't really believe in it, it's not going to work. That's therefore we thought it would be a problem really.
So actually, before, just one thing I wanted to say is that I think the pilot model right now, I see this still in an infancy stage, and we're waiting for workbooks, etc. I think the pilot model is very advantageous, right? Because what I'm noticing when you showed the different trainings across what 5D has done, you essentially took the participants and made them, some of them, the pilot schools. So we're looking in this room, we have 5 schools from Canada: At-Taqwa, London Islamic School, Tarbiya, ISNA schools, and MAC Maple Grove. So if we can pilot this in Canada and get all of the scrutiny that you have, you assess how that's going, we create focus groups, and I think that's going to be meaningful for our journey, right? Yeah, so I think the question with that is, what would be the next step? Now that we're parting from this program, what would be the next step?
Yeah, I think that's a very good idea. I think really, again, so in a way that you were saying, now we have the material, because what we did before, we didn't have those material ready. Now we have the material, so we need to really have some schools to experiment with those material that's in the piloting. Then we need to have we have a focus groups we had a focus group with them. We did a survey with them. So we need to do those kind of thing to really see how it will work. I think essentially the next steps is what we learned, that we really need to have the school to buy into the idea first, which I think that's in a way that the administration has to buy into the idea. Then we need to really.
Jati, can I just?
Yes.
So the administration is here.
Yes.
That is them.
Yeah.
They bought into it. So what I was suggesting to Ghazala is that when they have their training, then we come on Zoom and we give some introduction, and then they take over from there. Then any questions they have, they feed them back to us. So whatever problems that you encounter in conveying the message of the 5D model, we will help you with that. then the second step would be that you tell us, in terms of your curriculum, if you're following certain topics, then we could just provide them to you even before the workbooks are ready. But what we could also provide you with is the topics in our workbook, so you can see if there's any alignment that can happen. So that would be the next steps, that they, like you said, the management has bought into it, and now getting the teachers on board with it, and maybe just selecting a couple of grades or a couple of teachers even to go with it, and then gradually build up through the year depending on your own particular reality and what you're able to manage.
Right, because just like us had said, we do have 5 principals in Ontario that are here, but I feel like we're all bought in, but maybe at different levels. And maybe what I'm envisioning is different than what Mona's envisioning, and that's different than what Sally and Sama are envisioning, right? Because I feel at this point, just like Asad said, it is at a very early stage, and so what I go back and train my staff, actually me and Mona are going to be doing it together because we're in the same city, but after that, the follow-up, like what the 5D model will look like at Tarbiyah versus Ottawa Islamic School versus Taqwa and London Islamic School, I feel will be very different right now, because it is at an early stage. And some principals may feel that, yeah, let's pilot it with a few teachers, but I actually want to go full in on this. So my next week is going to be basically preparing my training based on this training, so that I can go in, and this is going to be our primary focus going into this next academic year. And I already have buy-in from my teachers, because when you came to Canada, 5 of my teachers were at that training. So I'm in a little bit of a different position maybe. However, I know there's going to be tons of challenges, but that's to be given anytime you implement a new model. But my question was more along the lines of, this is based on science, the science curriculum. In Ontario, we don't teach science every day. It's not one of the core subjects, but we do teach language arts and math every day. And so if I were to try to implement the 5D model to the other subjects, is that, I mean, I have a way that I think I want to do it, but again, that's deviating from the training that we've had here. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
I think again, that's why it's really, we start with science because it's relatively easy, you know, but you can absolutely apply to any subjects. But I think that since the very beginning, I think that 2 things, that this is about the perspective. So to have any teachers to go through this training to understand they will by default bring this into their teaching when they teach math on any subjects. So I think I will say there is a great value for every teachers to go through this training with you know, that we need to have maybe 1 or 2 sessions to show how they can apply to different area beyond the science. Then now it's their job to go and think how they can apply in their own subjects, okay? Until we provide the material to them. So I think that will really have, like, again, you teach maths, I give an example, you're teaching maths, you teach the straight line, so you can connect to Sirat al-Mustaqim, so you drive a moral lessons from that. So I think we can, you know, we can do that. That's one thing in this regard. But I will say, you know, it will be for the assessment of the model, it will be better to really look those who teach science and to work with them and to assess the outcome from that cohort, not the other subject area, to see really how it works overall and get the feedback accordingly.
Right. No, and I think that's good, because our science head was at the training with Sister Uzma, so at least she has a little bit more know-how of that.
Very, very good. I think the 2 things. One is that I think still if we can have somehow good coordination among all, you know, piloting schools, I think we could find some, let's say, you know, some uniform way of implementing that. So though there could be differences in terms of the stage that you are, but I think there are certain things that we can come up with to see how you could do it, you know, could have a better practice. But in your case, because let's say you think, let's say your school is different because you have more teachers trained, but I think we could easily, hopefully, convince the other schools as well this is something must. Because if teacher training component is missing, the rest will become very difficult. Right. So therefore, what we could do is say, okay, how can we think to really get those schools and provide the training to their teachers before they start to implement that.
Well, I mean, I think my other question is, if we're sitting here right now and we've gone through the 6-day training, is this enough for us now to go and properly train our staff?
Yeah, I think that's good questions. Depends on really how you perform in the exams, right? The quizzes. But I think, you know, it's, here's what I will say. I will say, if you look at the teacher guidebook that we provided, and then use along with that one, I think you will get quite close to that level. And meanwhile, if you, any times you have any confusion that we get in touch with each other, I think that you might really, because we already have this recording of those videos, you can even use part of them as well. So I think that all of those sessions have been recorded, that's good. And then you have the teacher guidebook, almost have everything actually. We did not even provide, there's some things that we did not provide in training, we didn't have a time, it is in the teacher guidebook. And that teacher guide is essentially the training book, you can think in that way. So, but it's a little bit long, so and if you could look at that and try to also look at that. I have a
suggestion for that. What I was thinking is taking from the teacher guidebook specific sections and putting it in a little PowerPoint for you to use the PowerPoint to make different PowerPoints to present. So, for example, for the way I was envisaging it is that you have the 5 steps, right? So in each step, what concept do you need from the guidebook to explain the first step, analytical thinking? What concept do you need from the guidebook for analogical thinking? So I'm going to, tomorrow, when you're all having fun, do that for you, inshallah, and give you that, it's like a summary. So using that, then you can, I'll reference the pages. All the slides that we've used are on Google Classroom, or I'm putting some of them up right now as well. So you can just take them, and then you can take the slide that you like and think, okay, this one fits here. And then after you've done that, then just have a quick run through with me on Zoom.
Okay, no, Jazakallah khair, because that's actually what we were going to do on the plane on the way on the way
okay,
on the way back.
But
now I can review it, because our teacher training is actually a week from Sunday, like so we get back and we have a week to prepare for it. But
there's one challenge that I haven't heard being discussed yet. And maybe it's more for a high school level challenge, but I think it's still a challenge. I love the 5D model, and planning to fully implement it, inshallah. Now, the challenge, there's a lot of challenges as been discussed, but one challenge is when you put the 5D model, the lesson becomes longer. And we are under pressure to complete the curriculum, finish grade whatever science by the end of the year. Already teachers are struggling, some of them, to make sure they get through the curriculum. Now, with the 5D model, those lessons become, sometimes double the time. So how do we, complete the curriculum and add all of this stuff into it within the same time? Now, I have one, possible solution. I want to hear your feedback. So what I'm thinking in my mind, and Sister mentioned correctly that maybe different schools are going to implement it differently, is to perhaps go through the training and make sure that teachers see it and love it and are on board, etc., etc. But then tell them, hey, listen, do one 5D model per week. Okay, when you're teaching your science, do one fully 5D model. And then as you get more comfortable, even without doing the pre-preparation for the 5D model in your lesson, you'll be able to kind of add here and there as you go. Like you'll be able, first of all, desecularize the language. That's, inshallah, it's not going to add more time in the lesson. But the other components of the model, even if you're not teaching fully a 5D model in the lesson, as you get more comfortable and you prepare enough, you'll be able to just kind of on the go, implement parts of the 5D model. So basically, once a week, 5D model, other classes, integrate what you can as you go. So I'm just thinking out loud, what do you think about
very,
that?
very good. Actually, in our planning, so we're not even once a week, we have it, once in every other week. So in other words, it takes 2 weeks for you to cover one topic. That's what you're planning, okay? That's one thing, so it's not that. But the other thing is that basically we need to know that when you teach a subject, is actually first 2 dimension should be part of the regular one anyway. Because the first one is a scientific, that is a textbook information, you just filter the concept. The second one is actually you bring analogies better for them to understand it. You should do it for conventional teaching as well, because the real learning really happens with analogy. The only things we bring in is the 3-dimension actually. So we're saying that now, you know, you move toward teaching based on analogy, because we have ample evidence showing that analogy is the key for comprehension. Even if you do it in a secular way, that's what they suggest. Then now we only bring 3-dimension. We say, okay, at the critical, bring some question. You already have a discussion and a debate. But have them engage in critical thinking to question nature, chance, and cause as well. That's the thing. And then the fourth one will bring the meditative and moral. That's missing. Now remember, in US they do, and I don't know in Canada, in US is quite big movement to have this dual purpose curriculum, in which that you will have the subject and you have the character objective. Even in maths, your objective, how you can inject the character. So in other words, they try to bring, even the secular education, they try to bring the moral or character education into the classroom. So there are some, practice of that one. So essentially, what is missing, completely missing, there is a meditative thinking, because they don't want to connect with Creator. So, and those character-based education, they do bring them, they don't call it moral, because moral remind them is kind of God, but they call it a character, okay? So it's actually, even in some schools, they have it as a CPA, character point of average, along with the GPA, because they even assess the character development and give the report to the students. So therefore, I think I agree. That's one way we can look at you and say, look, this is not something completely new. The 3 things is new, perhaps. The 2 is already supposed to be there. Plus, if they're still concerned, so we have, in a way, we say, you can just allude it through certain questions. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be long. It doesn't have to be in detail. So as long as you can really bring it and have them to think about it, you can move on. So it depends on really how much time you have it, but we think you can have a kind of comprehensive discussion or relatively, moderate discussion on each dimension and move on. But therefore we prepare one version. We say, okay, we can only give you questions, nothing else. Get this guiding question and have them to really think about it to move them through each dimension. That's the other things we could do.
What I would say for you, brother, is to go on the website and get the articles, because they are at a higher level, and just take them and use each as a unit. So just align it with your curriculum. And like you said, it can be scattered throughout the term. It doesn't have to be, it's just that you can get used to it, the teachers can get used to it. And the main point is identifying the key concepts that we want to build within the children, the perspective we want to give them. And that can be done very easily, even the way you're going to approach it, inshallah.
I think it's quite possible, because, with inquiry, right now everything's going towards inquiry-based learning and project-based learning, so we can kind of integrate some of the overall expectations across the sciences. And they say even if you can't cover all of the specific expectations, if you model some of it really, really well, it can carry it through. It can carry through the rest.
Just a suggestion that MAC is, well, I know not everybody uses MAC, but MAC has over 10 schools in Canada. So if you get them to buy in, the way they work is that they try to kind of have consistency across the board in their schools, especially if it's ideas that are part of tarbiyah, right? So Brother Khalid, he knows that he'd have to go back and double check on this before implementing in the school. But from the MAC head office is where they kind of put the ideas out. And so what I'm trying to say is that if you wanted, for instance, an opportunity to kind of test in several schools, and it's across the country, they even have French schools. So that's something that you may want to consider. We can try to set up some sort of meeting.
Very good. So again, really, we are just, I think the way we need to look at it is like, this is, I think everyone agrees that there is a big need for that. So how we're going to do that, I think that's any suggestion you have, any opportunity that you see. So I think it would be really great help, for us if you can, spell out this idea and tell us your suggestion and see how we could do. So inshallah, we are we are absolutely very, very glad to work with everyone in any way that's possible. They're gonna really serve this cause. That's the whole point. We're here really for, you know, for a very long term, inshallah, till the grave. So inshallah we can, you know, have such meeting in Jannah as well together, say, you know, we did some things. We did some things, yeah, for the sake of Allah, and it really made some differences, you know. So therefore this is not really a, you know, money driven project. This is not an ego driven. This is really something to see how we can help the ummah.
This is actually, like, it's really interesting because right now we're just actually trying to work on something to address these particular issues. So we're researching, investigating. That's why I was like, here, I was like, what? This is perfect. Like, there's a gap that we're missing. We're working on some curriculum right now, improvement, but this is another aspect that really, you know, when you're building from one perspective, but then from another area, it's destroying. So I think this has kind of filled that gap. So inshallah.
Are you part of that work today?
Yeah.
You're working?
Yeah, I'm working with my head office.
So,
So
like you said, I mean, you know, approaching them is part of the puzzle, like a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
So can't you be that?
So that's what I'm trying to say. I'll go back and speak to them. I mean, I'm not going back, but I already said I have a meeting with them next week and to talk about this, inshallah. Again, it's from the top, so like if they decide, the very top decides to go ahead with it, but they may need to speak to you because Mac has specific things.
Yeah, I think what you could do in this case, because again, particularly though at administrative level, if you want us to present to them and to address their question, we're more than glad to do so. So you can, you know, we can arrange meetings, you know, we can basically address their concern question. This is very understandable because they don't want to really implement something if they are not sure about it. So I think if you give us some, you know, feedback in terms of what they are looking for, then we will try to really prepare a presentation and be open to their questions. Yeah.
Another quick question. I see, alhamdulillah, people who are here generally have decent amount of Islamic knowledge. And, you know, when we're integrating this, those parts where you bring in the Islamic ayah and the you know, character building and etc., how much Islamic knowledge would a teacher need, number one? Number two, you know, should I trust somebody who maybe they're secular? We know they're secular because they've gone through the school and we kind of know our teachers to come up with the lesson, or should I say, look, dude, Habibi, you know, here's the lesson. Just work with this. Don't need to bring new the Islamic part. Please run it through me. Don't integrate the Islamic part or the ayah until you run it by me. Like, should I have that quality assurance to make sure they're not messing up the Islamic components? And you know, secularizing the verses as well?
Yeah, I think what we do in our publication, we add for each dimension, or not each, for 2-3 dimension. We feel if the teacher is not feeling good enough, we put teacher notes there. The teacher notes provide more detailed information as if teachers really doesn't know anything about the subject. So in this regard, I think the material, you know, as long as they're Muslims, they have overall ideas. So I think the material should be easy for them to deliver. So we'll have this.
So delivery should be okay.
Yeah, delivery should be.
I wouldn't trust them to come up with the.
I think I think unless you think they are not secularized, because again, you can really even make this, you know, ayah and hadith presented in a very secular perspective. I think it's better to really, again, that's why we want to provide the assessment part to see what is delivered in the classroom, because that's what we learn from students when we do the assessment. So if you do the assessment and see what students think about it, then now you can say really whether the subject was delivered in a proper way or not.
Yeah, and I mentioned this to a couple of guys, but you know, at our school, I stopped telling teachers to integrate Islam into the curriculum a few years ago, because they were integrating messed up stuff into the curriculum. And I said, you know, until I have time to train them properly, which I never got time, that's why I changed my role. Like, just don't worry, you just teach your secular, you know, science as is until we do the proper training. So yeah, I've like witnessed with my eyes how messed up sometimes people are forced to do integration and they don't have the background. They can really mess things up even more.
So therefore, really, we think teacher training is important to give them perspective, but we need to really understand they're busy and they might not have enough background. Therefore, we need to provide the material. And that's the reason we want to really make the material ready for them.
So the way I was thinking about it actually, because we are a primary school, so we have a whole section that we call AQIS, which is Arabic, Quran, Islamic Studies. And of course we have homeroom teachers, we're up to grade 8. So my idea of how to approach this is, for me, for example, I'd go back and probably, teach all the teachers, right? Provide professional development for all the teachers, but specifically for division heads. And then the work will have to be, luckily, today I have homeroom teacher with us, like in my school, and I also have AQIS in our school, right? So the integration, the way I'm thinking about it is that, the homeroom teacher is the one that has the topics for the science, and then AQIS are the ones who are supposed to give Islamic studies and Arabic. And so if they sit together when they're planning, and then the AQIS could be the ones giving the ideas to science on where they can insert those, kind of like get rid of those secular ideologies and help the department and help every class do that. I think it should be a good way to start with until we have more materials. And I think, again, as a pilot, it would be great if we maybe will have good things to share. Yeah. From this effort, and then my part will be, as brother said, quality assurance. I want to see the lesson plans before they're probably implemented, and then I would go in and just evaluate and have observation and see how things are going. But I think that partnership is really important.
So what we are going to, actually, as we implement, we're going to learn a lot from those who are implementing. So I think, as you mentioned, what the one things that kind of I thought about it, you could, let's say we have an ayah and hadith, right, in the 5th dimension. So if the Islamic studies teachers make those students to memorize this ayah and to reflect on the meaning of that, that will be an amazing complementary knowledge that's supporting each other. So they already learn in science that, and now in Islamic studies teaching them the very same ayah. So
exactly. So that doesn't become a burden on the teacher. Correct. So it will be integrated learning, where the Islamic studies are actually putting in their lessons things related to
the science. Same thing for the divine names.
Yes, definitely.
So, and if the divine names is actually covered in Islamic studies in depth, and then while they make the connection in science, that will be really perfect integration.
And that's the idea, hopefully, inshallah.
Excellent.
One just thing to as an advice. I think if it becomes a lot of work for the Islamic studies teacher, because they might have to continuously tell the other teacher how to do it or what have you.
No, they'll be doing through
their own course. Okay, yeah. If that's the case, then that's good, because our Islamic schools, a lot of times we put more work on the teachers and think they have infinite time, and we don't take things off their backs. So yeah.
Just as a suggestion, I'm just thinking that maybe if you're willing to actually have someone hired in the school whose job is to oversee or to help support the teachers from the educational perspective, meaning that the plan is followed as is, meaning the negating and the questioning and everything happening. At the same time, they're able to check, let's say, the Islamic aspect that it's correct. Because we have had this problem in the past where, let's say, a great program is put together, and then when it came to be implemented in the classroom, we discovered that the teachers, like Brother Rasul was just saying, that some of them end up saying things that are really incorrect, even though they're being given the materials, by the way. So we went back and had to kind of say, okay, we're going to have to train, spend time, and even check for understanding and things before they started to implement. So it's just a suggestion. I know it's another person to hire, but considering the workload that the admin already have, maybe considering if this is something really important that you want to pilot in the school.
In South Africa, what they did is they had, I can't remember the word they used, but they're like coaches essentially. But they used a particular word. Yeah. I can't remember. It was like something. It's quite an exciting word. It's like a champion. That's it. Champion. He said 5D champions. right? So people who really understand it deeply, and then they are responsible for
But you know, that
checking.
doesn't have to be a hired position.
Yes, it can be someone
one of your
Exactly.
members of staff who are passionate about it, and then that's like an extra stipend that you give them at the end of the year.
As long as they have the time.
That's what,
Because that's our problem in teaching, right? We're overwhelmed with the amount of work. And then asking teachers to do more, it's just like, oh my God, like brothers, we barely have time to cover curriculum. We barely have time to prep. If you're an inspected school, like there's so many aspects, right? So just if it is maybe for a little while, it even helps you as an administrator. Are you really going to be able to check all those lesson plans? Are you really going I'm just suggesting something to, if it is something really important, like guys, that we really need to implement in our schools, maybe consider a team, maybe like, especially if you've got a bunch of schools from the same area, maybe have a team of trainers that go around to the schools and check. Maybe have, you know, like, because this is something honestly so important.
Yeah, but I think that's why we need to really, we did with piloting schools, so we need to, that's why we're going to work with schools. We have to really put a certain structure in place in which that there will be someone who is in charge of the implementation. They will call the coach, the head of this whole team. So otherwise, if we just give material and let them to do it as they do, it doesn't really work that way. The way we look at it, we tell the school, say, tell us who are really passionate about this. And then we'll train them, and then the person will be in charge of the implementation. So our team will work with this individual, with this person, try to see how it's implemented. But whether this person will be fully dedicated on this one, I think that depends on the schools, it depends on like how many teachers they have, what is the workload, that they can decide. But I think in principle, you need to have someone who is dedicated to that, work with the team to implement that. Yeah. Okay, anything else? Any other comments, question, objection, suggestion?
I had a question about, you said the workbooks are in 30 or 40 days, right?
Yes,
the
yes.
digital version. Is it possible that we can take a peek of that workbook right now, if it is ready? No, he shared the teacher resource, right?
Yeah.
Because I think if we leave this room and we finish this program with anticipation of that thing, launching and excitement, we got some golden eyes. You see what I'm saying? So just a peek on what that looks like and what to expect.
Yeah, I think we have it ready as a Word document. It's not just in a design, but if you want to have the Word document, I think we don't mind to really share with you as a Word document.
I just feel like at this time, we're all going to be starting school in like about a week or two. And if we don't start this with the teachers at this moment, I don't feel it after a month to come and say, hey, let's do this. They're not going to buy on as much as they would now. And even if they're not in the best, I guess, like model or design, I think at least if they have the framework, then they can start thinking that way. And when the nice design comes, we can just say, oh, replace this one with this one. And I think it'll be easier for our teachers to come and join into this, like path that we're going to. If we do it right now at the beginning of the year, I feel like anything introduced later is not going to have as much as buy-in.
For example, at my school right now, we have the science curriculum is changing, but we have the science, we haven't ordered any science books because the last time we were here, I was anticipating that the books would be ready sometime in August. So I just wanted to, have a changeover as quickly as possible.
But
what grades what grades?
I was thinking of
primary.
Grade 1 to 5.
Yeah.
Not the high school at all.
Okay, so we can give you the Word documents for 3.5 of the grades, like maybe in a couple of days.
Okay.
And the rest, inshallah, as soon as they're done.
Yeah, I think we can give it to you Word document as soon as possible. Because I think some grades is fully ready, some is we're working as the publisher publishing that.
Yes.
But our plan within like 30, 40 days, everything will be ready, published outside. But we can give you the with initial draft. Then once the final comes, you can replace with that. Yeah.
I think there was a monthly discussion session where
Allah Akbar, I was talking about this, just thinking to talk. Yes.
What challenges they have faced and how they can help each other, apart from just reaching out to you and asking questions.
Yeah, I think Hojam, we can do like monthly Zoom meetings. So to follow up, what you guys did already, how is going on, and do you need any help? Do you need any, kind of, psychological, even financial, I don't know, like to apply the program. I think it's gonna be refreshed all the time by doing the I think so.
I think when I did the pilot schools, I was doing 3 schools at once, and it was very difficult. But alhamdulillah, we did manage to have meetings as and when necessary. And alhamdulillah, because there's time difference, so you know I can work at different times, so we can do that. You can be on Zoom with me at any time, right? So we can plan that. The other thing we can do.
But now 5 flies 8, you know, things that.
Inshallah, they can all be together. No, the monthly. What I'm thinking is a presentation where we present a 5D topic every month for 20 minutes. And then after that, we have discussions on the concept, right? So in terms of logistical stuff, all the stuff of how am I going to do this and how am I going to do that, that has to be on one-on-one meetings. That can't be in a monthly meeting. In the monthly meeting, it will be conceptual. We'll present topics and we will answer questions on how to apply the topic. And I can even give you a date if you want. Sunday, 23rd December. Sorry, 24th September. I need coffee. Sunday, 24th September, right? I'm going to put it in my calendar. And, right? So we can have that. The monthly thing will start then. That's like a month from now. Okay?
That is educational, but I think what should also be focused on is keeping the beautiful ukhuwa that has been formed here. And like, we're all coming from different parts of the world, and we're all sharing the same dawah and intention, and we should keep sharing this to keep that excitement. And we can keep this fire warm.
Are you in the group, sister? Are you in the WhatsApp group? Okay, inshallah.
We can keep that WhatsApp.
Yeah. I'll open it up for you as well. Inshallah.
Can we not make it Sunday because we work?
That's why I'm doing Sunday, so that
it's a Sunday.
Okay, we can do Saturday 24th if you want.
Yeah.
Saturday 23rd.
She's saying put it on a work day, right?
You've got to remember the time zones, people.
What did she say? That's the 23rd.
Saturday 23rd.
Oh, I see what she's saying.
Okay.
We'll record it as well.
Anything else? Good. I think then we're ready for the survey, please. So we have a little, we have a survey for you to assess the program that you went through, to assess the instructors, and to assess the outcomes. That 3 parts of the survey is not long. I tried to shorten it, so it should take like maybe 10, 15 minutes. Anonymous survey. Feel free to say whatever you want to say. We don't really ask any personal information from you. So because we want to get a genuine assessment to see how we could do better next time, inshallah. Okay?
Can we send us the link and we can do it?
Yeah, I think the problem is most of the time when we leave it later, people forget it.
Okay, so what's your departure time?
Okay, I think we can give the link. Those who could do, we recommend you do. Those who want to go, they can do it later, no problem. So, Sister Uzma?
You're saying the survey you don't have to do
Can you share the link?
right now.
I sent it to you, the survey on the group.
No,
And before the session ends, we are going to have a group photo here in the room, inshallah. Don't leave immediately. Don't.
I was just asking if the Canada team, all the people from Canada, we can just sit for like 10-15 minutes, just talk about this and the way forward, because I think we're all Ontario anyways as well, so we can have this like nice focus on Ontario and then take off from there, be the example for the rest of Canada. No, the rest of Canada first.
Yeah, 2:45.
So we should be there 11:45?
Yeah, please stay for the group photo because some sisters are gonna leave earlier before the closing ceremony. Yes, please. That's why it's better to take a group photo here as well.